So I'm going to get started, and the whole purpose of this training is to show you these different layers of perfect. I can hear you. These different phases and stages of business growth. And you're going to be able to identify, okay, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, right? And it's okay to be in all three. And it's not that any one is bad or wrong or anything like that. So just allowing yourself to listen to and look at this training as just an awareness tool. And I'm going to be sharing with you specifically how to know what stage you're in and some of the things that showed up for me as I started to really piece together what was happening when I was looking at some of these other coaches making multiple 6 and 7 figures in their business. So welcome. I see some more people joining. Again, this training is to bring awareness to you so that you can see how to move to these higher phases. And a lot of people will stay at phase 1, but I know that's not you because you're aware, you know that there is something more than strategy. It's so much more than just following that cookie cutter, proven way to scale your business. And so I want to really move into that with you, into this deep conversation about how to scale your business with more ease, flow, and pleasure. Because a lot of the pharmacists that I start working with come to me and they're all up here. They're in the overthinking, they're in the control patterns. There are different things that start to come through, even in that first session that I start coaching with somebody. So it could be that they're not really connecting the dots to how they help their clients. It could be an energetic thing that needs to click in order for you to really anchor into certainty, power, and pleasure, and to begin running your business from this totally different frequency rather than control, fear, coming from these lower energies that aren't going to really allow your soul client to find you. So we're going to be going through all of that fun stuff, and hopefully everybody, printed out your sheet. And so I'm going to be going through these different phases of business transformation. Let's see, which way should I go? And what I started to identify for myself as I was going through these different, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, that way. As I was going through, over the past 10 years, I started to pick up these patterns of the coaches that I saw were very successful, and I felt stuck at a lot of points in my business. And so I don't want you to have to go through that. I want to show you how to seamlessly move through these 3 phases. So what I realized was that phase 1 here is really about revealing and releasing. So this is a lot of the work that I talk about with blocks, right? So different things can come up with unworthiness, or, you're really questioning everything that you've been taught. A lot of the old programming that your parents taught you or that you absorbed from society or the collective, that you had to do things a certain way, and that really limits you, right? When you're only thinking in terms of black and white, good and bad, and it doesn't allow you to expand into who you really are. So often at this phase, what I found is that a lot of people that are stuck in this phase are very rigid in their thinking. So they're like, all right, well, how do I get more clients? And what do I have to do? Who do I have to be to attract those clients? So maybe they're not really showing up fully in their authentic self-expression. Maybe they're dimming their light, or they're self-sabotaging. They're going through a lot of these vicious cycles because it's easier, not easier, but it's more comfortable to stay safe. And some of the things that I have seen, the practical things of staying stuck in this energy, is you're not getting the number of clients you really want, right? You're still working your pharmacy job. You're following rigid practical strategy from other people, which, again, there's no judgment no matter where you are, but just noticing, okay, like, oh, I think I'm here. And maybe you're in all 3 different phases, right? That's okay too. And there's usually a lot of frustration because what's happening energetically is that you're essentially putting up a force field. God is trying to pour into you, and he's like, oh, hey, here's this person, here's that. But you often can't see it, number one, because of all the resistance and being in your mind. And again, this goes back to the Hawkins chart, right? Depending on where you are in this chart, let me try to make it smaller so you can see me. So if we're in these lower levels of fear, that is the lens that we see life through. So doing this inner work, the inner transformation, helps you to ascend into more flow. So if you can see down here, when you're holding on to frequencies of guilt, shame, fear, all of those things, it's going to severely constrict your energy. So it's like this force field that's not allowing good things to flow to you. And I don't say that to scare you, it's just that's what's happening because you're guarded, right? There's a lot of masks at this stage. There's a lot of protection mechanisms. So a lot of you, if you've come to retreats of mine or if you've done any work with me, this is what we go into because it's really unraveling and releasing a lot of these old programs, patterns, beliefs, behaviors that are not you. They are not your true self. Your true self is love, is connected to your intuition, is receiving abundantly for your gifts, being tuned in, tapped in, turned on by your offers, right? I posted about that today. So this is the work. And I wrote in there release and rise because that's one of my other programs. So this is really what we move in some of the earlier programs or even in the retreat. We have gone through a lot of these things. I put in there shadow work. So that is really the things that you want to avoid, deny, suppress about yourself. So you might say something about your parent, like, oh, they're so controlling. Where is that part of you that is also controlling? It's that part that we want to push to the back, that we don't want to admit about ourselves. And what happens when we do that is that you stay in those lower levels. One of the biggest differentiators for you to become empowered on this chart is to own it, is to say, you know what? I can be controlling sometimes. I'm going to own that about myself. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself, right? So it's allowing that to come through, allowing these emotions to come through, right? Because a lot of emotional suppression is in this first phase where, maybe you were told as a child you're not allowed to, don't be too much or like don't brag or whatever it is. So your light was stifled. So this process, this phase one, and a lot of the things that I've created thus far in my business is really to support you in this first phase. And the energy of this phase is very heavy. It's almost like moving through mud. And a lot of what people will do at this phase, they're like, oh, I have to work harder, right? That's what we think. Oh, well, I just have to work harder. I just have to do more. So it's the efforting equals results. That's what people think in this phase. But what happens with that is, say that you're in the mud, right? You're stuck in the mud. Hold on. And you're trying to spin your tires. You're revving the engine to go faster because I just want to get there quicker, right? The wheels keep spinning, but you're digging yourself deeper into the mud. So think about that analogy, right? We think, oh, I just have to do more. I have to work harder, but you're actually throwing more resistance in your field. And so it's not about trying more. It's not about convincing people or being like, hey, here I am, hire me, having that energy. It's like, queen, this is who I am, right? Honoring that queen inside. So a lot of this work is both energetic and practical. The things that we move through in these different phases to get you into, from phase one to phase two. The other thing I did want to show you too was looking at this, right? I'm actually going to have to, you won't see my mouth moving, but you'll hear my words. There are two ways to get to the top of a hill, right? We want to get to the outcome of synchronicity, of flow, of ease in our business. So what a lot of people will do is this, right? Using force, working hard. I know my dad taught me that. He's like, one of the first things I can remember learning as a child, as a 3-year-old child, was you have to work hard to get anything in life. And of course, things require effort, but it's a different way of being rather than deciding, opening your field and receiving. Trying, forcing, that's not going to work. And the result, of course, is burnout and exhaustion. Now, the second way, maybe I'll move it this way. The second way is releasing what's heavy to rise. Right? And then you become unlocked and unblocked. So someone will be like, hey, there's a mentor saying, hey, I want to help you up the hill. Not that the person's carrying you up the hill, but they're like, hey, I can show you the easier way. Come walk in my footsteps because I know the accelerated path, right? You have a choice every day. You could stay working hard and doing all the things, or you can take the easier path. So that is the option that's there for you. So the tools and support to get from phase 1 to phase 2 are, like I said, a lot of the work that we do in any program that I do. I try to incorporate all 3 of these. So starting to clear these self-sabotage cycles, vicious cycles. A lot of women I see, it's like this lack, scarcity, deprivation frequency that kind of goes all throughout your life, where you deny yourself of your true desires, whether it's with food, with money, or maybe there's like this vicious cycle where it's like binging and restricting, but in ways of like spending a lot of money and then saving a lot of money, or in these really like black and white cycles. I see that a lot too. So clearing those vicious cycles is a really powerful way to free you up into those higher frequencies. And another thing that's going to help you move from stage 1 to stage 2 is working with your money stories, right? Because there's so many, I would say almost 100% of the women that I work with have some block around receiving more wealth, clients, and abundance in your business, right? So it's a deep unconscious program, and a lot of it has to do with things that have happened earlier in your childhood. It could be things that your parents modeled to you about not having enough, that scarcity, that lack, that, you know, I'm not allowed to receive pleasure because then it's not holy, or, you know, there are a lot of different like religious ways that this can flow in. You know, a lot of people that were raised in the church, like, oh no, that's not okay. And I'm honoring everybody wherever you're at. I'm not saying like anything is right or wrong, but a lot of these things, a lot of these themes come up like, oh no, I'm not allowed to have that. I can't possibly ask for that. Then I'm going to be ungrateful if I want more from my life. I'm so blessed as it is, I can't ask for more. All of these things contribute to your receiving capacity, what you feel you're allowed and deserving of holding, number of clients, the number in your bank account. All of these things are related to a lot of the unconscious programs that you were taught as a child, right? So it's really unwinding that unworthiness, which is really what we work on in Elevate Entrepreneur Academy. So Elevate Entrepreneur takes you from phase 1 to phase 2, where we're clearing these vicious cycles, we're unwinding this unworthiness, we're anchoring in a new frequency related to your brilliance and how you're allowed to show up in the world. And it's a lot of this releasing work, a lot of the reprogramming and rewiring your nervous system to know, hey, it's safe to receive abundantly for your gifts. And there's so much more to that, but that's just a general overview of what that looks like. So phase 2 is about unlocking and unblocking. Here we go. I'm like moving the wrong way. I'm going to figure this out, guys, I promise. Okay. So the second phase is about unlocking and unblocking. So this is really where you get to higher levels of starting to trust yourself. Like, oh, okay, I do have these desires that are different than maybe what I was taught and how I was brought up in traditional, in the family, like in your household, or what you were taught by society. And honestly, these are my favorite people to work with because I am so unconventional and non-traditional. I'm like, oh yes, let's play in this realm of just being open to anything that your soul is wanting to bring forth. So you start to become more trusting of yourself. The shadow work and the blocks and the density becomes a lot less. So you start to feel lighter. You start to, open up more to your intuition. Things start coming and channeling through you. Because think about it. So say that you're blocked and you have a lot of these energetic densities in your field from trauma and whatever else is coming through for you. It's really hard for God to reach you. It's hard because, especially when we're anchored into fear, because it's hard to discern, like, is this fear? Is this God's voice? Is this my desire? Where is this coming from? But the more you do that work, that's where these divine downloads come through. And you'll start to hear you'll start to actually deepen into your clair abilities. So clair sentient, clair feeling, clair knowing. Like, I just know that that I need to talk to that person, or I need to reach out to that client. So you become more intuitive, more pleasure led. So that is what I'm talking about when I say pleasure led, because it's coming from a higher place. It's coming from your desires because you've cleared the channel for God to message through you, which is beautiful. So you can choose at this phase. You can choose to go back down to phase 1, going back in fear, and a lot of people do that. A lot of people don't even get out of phase 1, to be honest, because many people don't do this inner work that I'm talking about. But I know that's not you. I know that you are here to feel expansive, to feel light, to lead a pleasure-led business, and to do it with integrity and heart and soul. So you're absolutely in the right place. A lot of people will go back to that, self-sabotage. Oh, I'm not ready yet, procrastinating, all of that, because it's safe. Or you can really, yes, hell yes. I see Facebook user. I can't see who that is. I love it. Hell yes. Or you can choose to go to phase 3. So this is where a lot of people will meet like your money edge. So say that you've been investing small bits in like masterminds, or maybe you haven't invested at all. Now you're meeting that edge where maybe you come across a program that you really want to do, or working with a coach. And it's like, oh, hi Trish, yes. And you get to decide, right? This is your discernment and your self-trust. So the feminine desire is there. And then you need the pleasure-led action. So this is you trusting yourself, and kind of, it's a little bit scary, right? It's like kind of closing your eyes and walking out in faith, stepping out in faith. And we did a beautiful exercise at the retreat about this. So it's really about trusting self, trusting those intuitive nudges. And, even in your copy, in your marketing, in your messaging, what feels good for my soul? What feels really juicy, expansive, delicious? So you're starting to become more aware of what feels good for you. And in this phase, you often start embodying higher prices. You have these, maybe some soul-led offerings are coming through, something that really feels aligned for you to share out into the world. And you start remembering who you really are as a soul. It's really beautiful. So what happens often if people stay stuck in this phase is that you'll start to see some of these feast and famine cycles. And I'm going to give examples of each one of these and like practically how it showed up for me. So you might see like, there's income plateaus, or you have like a 10K month and then a 1K month, and it's like these big swings. It's because there's not that energetic sustainability that's going to allow you to consistently call in clients. So this is what we do in Magnetic Wealth Queen, which I know is what, this group is all about. But I have a brand new offering about this, a soul-led offering that just felt so juicy for me to put out into the world, because I know that these phases, these are universal principles that every single person is going to be going through and moving through. And I want to help you to anchor into the third phase, which is certainty. It's, this is who I am. I am the queen of my life. And it's not from arrogance. It's from you knowing who you really are. And if it's one thing that I've heard, over the past 3 years that I've really been diving deep with entrepreneurs, it's that people want to be seen and heard for exactly who they are. And I know the same is true for you. You want to be self-expressed. You want to be, getting paid abundantly for your offers. You want this magnetism to draw in clients, attracting, right? Not pushing, forcing, trying, doing all these things. And I'll be honest, I have to move through these little initiations too, of like these upgrades. And sometimes you go slide back to phase 2 and it's like, oh, here's an old pattern. Okay. But once you have the tools to know, okay, this is what's happening, my old codependency pattern is coming back in, or my people pleasing or whatever, and you know how to shift it very quickly, it allows you to move through with more ease and flow. So if you see here, you go through these initiations in phase 2, in this phase 3, but it's way more with more ease and grace. So you're showing up as yourself, as your beautiful divine self. You're radiating out, not grasping, not chasing, not convincing anybody. And a lot of this is subconscious. So I have talked to people recently too who, they start off and they're like, well, this is the symptom. I'm not getting clients. This is what's happening, blah, 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 blah. I dive deeper with them, and it's that they have this energy of, the energy's moving out, if that makes sense. It's not radiating out. It's like, oh, I need, like grasping, right? So I want to show you back with the Hawkins chart. So if you look at desire, and when I use the word desire, it's not calibrated at this low frequency, but desire, this is something I wanted to talk about today. Desire calibrates at 125. So anything below 200 is taking energy away from you. So if you're at 125, this is the energy of desire, of craving, of addiction. So if you I need more clients, that indicates a lack of them. So a lot of the things that need to shift are releasing some of these old scarcity patterns, the lack, the scarcity, the deprivation, so that you can move up to love, move up to your heart. So this is how we alchemize, going from desire and craving and, oh, I need, to this is who I am. This is my power, my pleasure, my certainty. This is how I want to serve the world. There's a much different energy from being disempowered and saying like, oh, I need this, right? I need this to feel worthy. I need this to feel acknowledged, seen, whatever it is. You don't need any of that. You can radiate that out, and it comes from embodiment, which is phase 3. So phase 3 is really about certainty. This is who I am, owning who you are, and really allowing yourself to receive, unlocking and allowing yourself to hold higher levels of clients, of wealth. And what happens is that, of course, you make these incremental upgrades, but you also need to work with this masculine feminine. We talked a lot about this at the retreat. If you don't have a container, if you don't have clear boundaries around your time, how you speak to your team, what your schedule looks like, if you're kind of like all over and doing 10 different things, your energy's scattered. So we want you to be really focused and aligned, and this is who I am. And this is a lot of the work that we would do with the calming your nervous system, allowing you to focus on, okay, what is that desire you want to birth into the world? So a lot of these things that come up it's really unlocking these soul-led offerings. That's really where we're at with phase 3. And so I want to show you, I want to explain a little bit more about like what this might look like for you tangibly in your business. So for example, in phase 1, for me, it looked like I was charging what everybody else was charging. No way could I possibly charge $100 or more than $100 a session, because I was, a health coach back in 2012. I was trying to do it by myself. I was independent. I had a guard up. I was, very masculine, very much about proving my worth, and in those lower frequencies of like, well, I need to prove to, my dad at the time, I need to prove that I'm worthy through this business. And it wasn't heart-centered at all. And I was struggling with a lot of unworthiness, control. I had that good girl mask. I wasn't connected to my feelings. I was in my eating disorder and all of the things, right? A lot of suppression. And it wasn't until I started to go through this healing process through a bunch of different modalities that I was able to, actually it wasn't even until 2019 that I was actually able to move to phase 2, because I went to, I hired a business coach, got a couple of clients from that, $10,000 a month within, like, I'm very quick. So there goes Rachel. I implement very quickly, but it wasn't energetically sustainable, because I had so much unworthiness patterns that were happening. So I was doing the strategy, but I couldn't energetically hold more clients because I had all of these blocks that were still really stopping me. So I went through a deep transformation at that time, and I started to move into this phase 2 of really trusting my soul-led offerings and becoming more aware of my gifts and shining that out into the world, deepening into my offers rather than just being like, I'm a health coach, this is what I do, right? It was really unlocking that next phase of my self-expression. And then moving into phase 3, I feel like I've really embodied that at different phases. And of course, like I said, we can kind of slip back into phase 2. I've had many initiations. Phase 2 can really be kind of like a spiral. You might be like, oh, I thought I already dealt with this. Why is this coming up again, right? It's okay. But, the more that you are familiar, like I said, when we go through the material and Elevate Entrepreneur, it's really designed to set you up for long-term success, because you're going to be able to know, oh, okay, this is what's happening. This is the tool I'm going to use to shift this. This is how the energy that I want to be leading my business with. So there are those universal success principles that we use in Elevate Entrepreneur Academy to help you at every next phase of that initiation process, because you will come up against things. Like for me, unworthiness definitely rears its head sometimes at every next level of my business. I'm like, okay, I see you. I know what we're going to do. We're going to do XYZ and shift this. Of course, feeling it, because it's a deep wound. I think that's probably my biggest fear, is being like, I'm just not worthy, right? And that's very real to our body, to our subconscious mind. So being able to feel that, to move through it, and to keep going, so that we're not falling back into phase 1 where you're self-sabotaging, where you're hovering over hesitation. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Just fucking do it. Like, let's go. We got this, right? It's stepping it out into faith. What else was I going to say? So really, that's, when you have these tools and you have this specific support that's going to help you move up to these higher phases, that is energetic sustainability, where you're releasing a lot of this density, you're allowing in more light, God can channel through you, God, the universe, source, spirit, whatever you want to call it. This is how you begin to expand and relax and lead a pleasure-led business. Yes. Yeah, just do it. Yes. Facebook user. Exactly. I just want to make sure I got everything covered here. Oh, here we go. I forgot to mention this too. So the tools and support to move from phase 2 to phase 3, it's really about mastering your energy. So again, we work with boundaries, standards, looking at where your energy is going throughout the day. Are you still stuck in the rigidity patterns of every time you go to do an Instagram live, you're like, or like I have to do it perfectly or else it sucks, right? Like there's a lot of that can still come up, and that's okay. So being able to have a multifaceted approach. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, Trish, you need to go to the top of the live and grant eCam permission. So that's why it's not you. It's just, that's the one thing that I wish that they would change on here. So it's really about mastering your energy, your magnetism, and allowing more of the real you to shine through your offer. So this is where, I actually just did this with a Magnetic Queen client today. We were looking into, okay, what are the natural, of course, results that you get your clients? And really being specific about what that is, because money loves clarity. So when you're fucking crystal clear about who you help, how you help them, bringing those gifts that we unlock in phase 2, bringing that to the forefront and communicating your brilliance, people are like, oh, hell yeah, right? They just feel that vibe. And for those of you who joined Magnetic Wealth Queen, you probably felt the same thing, right? You're like, oh, yeah, I want to be magnetic. Hell yeah, like who wouldn't, right? You want more clients consistently funneling into your programs. And so it's the energetic sustainability that we work on in the Magnetic Wealth Queen program. And obviously too, dipping into some of these, if any vicious cycles or self-sabotage or subconscious programming comes up, it's kind of like dipping into all three of these, usually for most people. But it's a highly curated experience. And really it's anchoring in this certainty so that when you show up, you command, right? It's different than being like, hi, this is who I am and this is what I do. It's like, oh no, I'm here. Hello, what's up, right? It's the tone of your voice, it's the energy that you exude for people. Because here's the thing, if you look at other people that you've hired, most likely it's the energy that they bring, right? It's that the certainty that how do I want to say it? That masculine structure of like, I can lean into this person and trust them, and they're going to hold me in this experience, right? I want you to just notice that for yourself, because the way that you choose coaches is the way that your people are going to choose you, right? Because everybody's a reflection of, usually you attract your soul clients who are struggling with maybe where you were 5 steps ago, whatever that might be. So feel into that. What is it that you really admire in other coaches? I would actually love, oh, there you go. Perfect, Trish, you got it. What do you admire in other coaches? Typically, it's the embodiment, and that's really what this third piece is about. It's about walking your talk. It's about anchoring in this power, reclaiming your power, speaking out, this is who I am, this is how I can help you, and not coming from these lower frequencies of needing, forcing, fear, any of that. So it's really that embodiment piece that seals everything in and that allows you to really lead a pleasure-led business. So this is what I'm inviting you into in this conversation. Whether you're going from phase 1 to phase 2, elevate entrepreneur. If you're going from phase 2 to phase 3, I've specifically curated these experiences to help you move up these phases. That certainty is what resonates, because it's like, and I think of, with the queen crown, right? When you're wearing a crown, when you have that straight spine of, this is who I am, you don't lean forward, because what happens if you lean forward? The crown comes off, right? It'll fall right off. So, this is who I am, bish. Oh, I love the energy. There's that fire in you, Trish. I love that shining through. So yeah, it's really about moving through these phases, giving yourself grace, deep levels of self-love and self-compassion in every single phase. And I know it's easy to look at other people and to look out, oh, this person's doing this person's doing that, comparing ourselves, oh, how do people perceive me? That's, phase 1, and really releasing a lot of the comparing or needing to compete or any of that. We're past that. No, you don't need to do that. This is really about you owning your brilliance, who you are, through and channeling that light through your offers, through your elevated pricing. Knowing, I've actually been talking about this a lot lately. You do not have to price based upon number of sessions, hourly rates. I hear a lot of people doing that. I'm like, no, no, it's actually about the potency of the transformation that you bring. So when you come to work with me, all of you know, I will stretch you to raise your prices to reflect the potency of the transformation that you have, and really bringing that out. A lot of this actually comes back to your messaging and how you communicate, how you help get clients results, and how you are uniquely positioned to help them. And when they feel that exuding from you, your value. Oh no, value, sister. When they feel that exuding from you, it's like, of course I want to hire this person. I trust them. And again, of course, there's like the different phases of people getting to know, like, and trust you. But it's a beingness. It's not in your doing. It's not doing more. It's not forcing, striving, trying to be like everyone else. It's actually you showing up fucking unleashed. That's what I want to see. That's what's going to make me stop scrolling, right? Oh, wow, look at Trish. Like, that's what I want to see. Katie, yes. Yeah. So where are you going to stretch yourself to allow for this expansiveness? And, if you're in phase 2, I would actually love to hear where everybody is. No judgment. If you're like, oh, I'm probably in like phase 1, 2, 3. I might be in all of them. That's fine. And what is that desire that's going to be pulling you into this next phase, right? That feels really just pleasure-led, delicious, turned on. I posted today feel turned on by your offers. Think about it. If you're like, oh, I hear I'm selling this thing, people feel that energy too, right? So it's about moving through these layers and tapping into your soul, these soul-led offerings that are wanting to be channeled through you, the messages that are really potent, that God is waiting, that he's putting on your heart to share. So just take action on that between phase 1 and 2. Yep. Yeah, and that's totally fine. Just, acknowledge, recognize, and just be open. I would ask, another thing I would ask is, this kind of leans into trust and whatever you want to call it, God, the universe. The universe is always leading you. So there's a reason why you're drawn to certain people, to certain teachings, to certain things. I would ask, being totally surrendered in the feminine energy, God, what would you have me do next? What is my next pleasure-led action step? Because when we operate from, God puts the impulse on your heart, that's your intuition. Trish, I know you're clairsentient like me, which means, you feel things. There's like a gut response. Trust that. That is your intuition. That's your subconscious mind saying, oh, this is the way, right? Usually the fear is very loud. The subconscious or that intuition can be kind of like a whisper, like, hey, why don't you do that, right? And so honor that. Allow it in. Allow yourself to experience more pleasure in your everyday life and receiving. Because when you're operating from this place of beingness and you don't have that shield up, you don't have these masks, the protection, I could do it by myself, then you really allow in receiving. You allow your soul clients to find you because the light isn't blocked. Imagine you had a shield around you. No one's going to find you, right? Let's remove the armor, remove these layers so that juicy goodness in your heart can shine through. And that is your frequency that is going to reach people, touch, move, inspire them to action. Yes. Oh, I see. Okay, Jen. Awesome. I'm glad that you guys are all in the chat together. That's awesome. So I do have a couple of spots. Actually, I already sold 2 of the spots out of the 5 in Magnetic Wealth Queen. But this is really an experience. It is a container where we're going to be taking you through, even if you're at phase 1, to be honest, moving through these phases and unlocking the potency that's waiting to come through, the depth of your messages. Because when you do that and you move through releasing the energetic density, so I see it as kind of like, imagine like heavy weights all in your energy field, then the particles, like I'm going into quantum physics, but the particles are suddenly like a feather. So it's either like you're holding a weight or you're holding a feather, and there's a lot more beautiful synchronicity that can flow through. So it's really about doing that energetic work, mastering your magnetism, because you are already magnetic. It's just these different things that block us, right? That don't allow the true fullness of who we are to shine through. And it's about allowing it to be easy, right? Just feel the relief in that. So going back to that picture before, moving from this effort equals results to I follow my desires and allow myself to receive, right? So of course, like I said, we need action. Things aren't like a pot of gold is not going to fall from the sky, but it's the way you're being that is going to allow this expansion. So you could be down here struggling, struggle bus, or you could be up here and flow. So this is what I'm inviting you into. It's both the energetic and practical things to help you shift. And these are the universal success principles that you're going to be using at every next stage of up-leveling. And I've curated this over the past decade of going through it myself, of seeing clients and seeing people get tripped up at certain points. And I don't want that for you. I want you out there activating your audience, feeling alive and turned on by your offers. So if this is calling to you, I have 3 spots left for the Magnetic Wealth Queen. So if that's really feeling juicy and aligned and you're like, I just want to explore, let's just explore together. Let's just see, what's on your heart. Even if it's like, I'm not really sure if I'm there yet, but like, I just want to talk to you. I want us to just be able to have a soul to soul conversation. So after this live, actually, I have another call after this at 6 o'clock, but message me. I want to just connect with you and feel into where your soul is on the edge of this next level of you being unleashed to expand your receiving capacity. Because I know that's true for you. I know that it's so much more than the money, right? Like if you had like $1 million, you guys would probably all still do this, because I know that you are heart-centered, that you really want to make an impact. And so it's allowing that to come through and knowing that you don't need the money to prove your worth. You don't need the money to be seen. It's just a natural extension of who you are, because God wants to pour that in for you. God wants to pour in good. But so often we're like, no, I can't. We talked about this at the retreat, like receiving compliments, for example. Something as simple as that. We feel uncomfortable. It's like, I can't, right? Notice how you receive things. What I want to work with you on is to expand that, for it to be safe for you to receive compliments, money, clients, opportunities, because that's what you're so worthy and deserving of. So that's what I'm inviting you into. Just a soulful conversation. Oh, yay, Melissa, there she is. Okay, cool. Well, if you missed some of the beginning, like I said, I might go back and trim just because we did, or I'll just say, start the live at 5 minutes, but I would love to hear any questions. I'm going to be coming back. I love that this group is so intimate, so we can just really, get to know each other, hone in together, ask any questions that come up for you, any new insights that were like, oh my God, yes, that just something clicked for me. Anything like that, I would love to hear what that is for you. So in the meantime, I'm cheering you on. I am probably going to be posting more so in this group, because I really want to serve clients who are all the way the fuck in. Like, I'm like, all right, monetize your magic. That's kind of, for people who want to dabble, and that's fine. Like, I know that you guys are here for true transformation, and you're all in to rise to that phase 3, rise to make your business energetically sustainable so that you can, serve your clients. You can wake up to a dashboard full of clients. You can, be proud of yourself in your business, and you can, be more present with your kids, everything and all of that, right? I know that's really what you want. The income, the impact, all the things. So that is what the container is for, this beautiful group that I'm going to be keeping open. I'm not sure how long, but stay tuned, because I will be doing some more free trainings in here. So awesome. This ran over a little bit more than I thought, but we were just rolling. So thank you. Great group of women. Yes, I love it. Awesome. So feel free to post any comments, questions, private message me, and I will see you on the next live. Bye, guys.